Welcome to another unit in this Access course. This time I'm going to talk about queries, and I'm not going to talk about how we can just write them with the SQL code, because Microsoft Access gives us some other tools to generate queries without any background knowledge of SQL in what way soever. And if we just want to generate a new query, we could go to Create, then either Query Wizard or Query Design. Query Design, this part gives you just an empty query and you have to insert all of the code on your own. So if you do not have a real good background knowledge on SQL, I would recommend use the Query Wizard. Now we can take a look, okay, what do I actually want to do with this? Find duplicates, do a cross tab, or just run a normal simple query. So let's start with the simple query. Here I'm going to use the main information from the sales team tab. So I'm going to use the first name, surname, and age. I can choose, do I want to just have the data reported as is, or do I want it to be summarized more or less with maybe totals or averages or something like this. Since here this is just an overview of people working in this company, I would go with details. So I don't just want to have all the people listed by themselves. Can click on next, can enter a name for this new query, and I can decide, do I want to have it as is or do I want to modify it? In this case, I'm just going to do some modifications as well. What I see here, that's the data he selects. He selects it only from the table sales. If I were to add data from other tables, they would be next to it. Then I get an overview in this regard. Okay, what do I want to show the user? And let's say I don't want to show him the age. So it's still there, it's still listed. I could, for example, sort ascendingly, descendingly for age, even without showing age. Or I could even filter. That's what the criteria is for. Could say, only show me those people older than 40 years. So I'm going to put this requirement here. Then I can just push Command and S to save it. Else he would have asked me at this point. Can close it. See here my new query. If I double click it, goes into the the data view. And those are all the people listed to be older than 40. So we can take a look. Peter Müller is not there, Hans Meyer is not there, and Petra Miller is not there. Exactly, they're not there because they're too young. All those people are 40 or older. And well, that's how we can get easy queries without knowing any SQL whatsoever. We could still change it. For this we would go to the design view. The design view is what I used before. If you want to make changes to the underlying SQL code, you could also do this, but then you have to change it to SQL view. So that's actually what we did here. We have a selection, the variables we selected, from where we selected them, and our filter. So the age of the sales part has to be 40 or older than 40. So that's also a neat way for you to actually learn SQL step by step. Well, that's everything I wanted to mention in this context. We could go into more detailed queries, but then again, I would always recommend as soon as it becomes more complicated than these cross tabs or summaries, then I would personally always use SQL to be on the safe side that you actually get what you want to get. But it's still also possible to implement joins or something else with this design view. It is, however, a little bit more complicated as soon as you can program SQL than doing this in SQL itself. Well, that's about what I wanted to mention here. So I hope you enjoyed it. I say goodbye and see you next time.